अच्छा। Within Bhutan, I would say that entrepreneurship is now growing. It's a buzzing topic. There's a lot of other offices and stakeholders who are coming in, trying to understand entrepreneurship, trying to understand what our youths would be interested in.
BCG just projected Bangladesh to become a $1 trillion economy. PwC has projected that by 2030 and by 2060, India is going to be bigger than the US. That's something, right? We talk about regional blocks, but I think South Asia as a block is definitely very, very powerful.
Hello, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to all of you to the first session of day two of the third edition of the South Asia Convening. The intro video has provided you with enough of context, I believe. So I don't want to be the one standing between all of you and what I see is going to be a really wonderful discussion being anchored by Minhaz Bhai from Better Stories in Bangladesh. So without further ado, Minhaz Bhai, over to you and this absolutely awesome panel.
Thank you so much, Suchi. The discussion that we're going to do today is going to be a very important one. And the topic that we have got for this session is growing women-led ventures from micro to mighty. We have a fantastic panel from 3 countries in the region, Bangladesh, India, and Nepal. And the topic is about the strategies to help nano and micro women-led businesses grow while addressing their specific needs in capacity building and access to capital by showcasing these 3 examples. We all know when we invest in women, they reinvest back into their families and their communities. Despite that, there is currently about $1.7 trillion worth gender financing gap, with less than 2% of global value chain purchases are being done from women-led ventures. There are about 115 countries that still face legal constraints to entrepreneurship for women than men. And we know that women spend about 3 to 5 times more time on unpaid care work than men. Limited access to land ownership, agricultural inputs, and credit facilities restrict their ability to expand their business and invest in new practices. Furthermore, social norms dictating women's roles within the household and community can potentially limit their mobility and access to training and networking opportunities. These are all essential for their business success. If you look at a little bit into the data for the proportion of women entrepreneurs in South Asia, it's very less compared to the rest of the world. For numbers, India stands at 22.8% for early stage entrepreneurs, Nepal 18.4, and Bangladesh 16.8. Women in these countries face significant obstacles to get started and as well as to scale. There are deep-seated patriarchal approaches and gender stereotypes that remains as major stumbling block for our countries. So this is not all gloom and doom, right? There are organizations who are responding to it. They're providing with networks and resources, such as mentors, associations, and support services that has been helping women overcome their challenges. And that's exactly the purpose of this session, to illustrate examples of 3 countries. And we have a fantastic panel. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Minhaz Anwar, and I'm the founder and chief storyteller at BetterStories Bangladesh. And today on this panel, we have 3 countries being represented. First off, from Bangladesh, we have Dr. ATM Tariqul Islam, Country Director, Max Foundation. He is joined by a woman entrepreneur from Bakirganj, Parishal, Nusrat Lamia. And then we have Anagha Kamath from Mandeshi Foundation, India. And she is joined by Vanita Pise, also a woman entrepreneur from Mandeshi Foundation. And last but not the least, we have Dr. Dilip Bhandari from Heifer International, Nepal. So I believe, we are all eagerly waiting to hear the stories from you from different countries, stories of challenges as well as success. So without further ado, I would like to pass it on to Tariq Bhai for his side of the contribution. But before going on to the panelists, I would like to ask all the audience members to make it a conversational session. So do feel free to put your questions, thoughts, and remarks in the chat room. As well, if you would like to specifically direct your question or comment to one of the panelists, do feel free. If you want to keep it open, choice is yours. So over to Tariq Bhai.
Thank you, Minhaz Bhai and the panelists, and also to the audience. Good afternoon from Bangladesh, from Max Foundation. And actually, I am assisting Nusrat Lamia because she is the change maker. She is the entrepreneur, and she is aspiring to be the mighty entrepreneur from the micro ground. So I think first we want to listen to Nusrat Lamia. She will share her story. And then maybe I will try to just add on something, how she grown up and how we are trying to be part of her journey at the Max Foundation. So Nusrat Lamia, if you can just share your stories, how you started this entrepreneurships. Yep, over to Nusrat.
ওকে, সকলকে শুভেচ্ছা ও আসসালামু আলাইকুম। কৃতজ্ঞতা প্রকাশ করছি ম্যাক্স ফাউন্ডেশনের প্রতি আমাকে এরকম একটা প্ল্যাটফর্মে কথা বলার সুযোগ করে দেওয়ার জন্য। আমি নুসরাত জাহান লামিয়া, পড়াশোনা করছি অনার্স ৪র্থ বর্ষ, বরিশাল সরকারি মহিলা কলেজ। আমি একজন নারী উদ্যোক্তা। আমরা 4 বোন 1 ভাই। আমার পরিবারের আর্থিক অসচ্ছলতার কারণেই আমি ব্যবসা শুরু করি। যখন আমার মনে হয়েছিল যে আমি নারী উদ্যোক্তা কিভাবে হব, তো তখন পরিবারের সাপোর্টে আমি একজন উদ্যোক্তা হই, কারণ বাবা একার উপার্জনের টাকা দিয়া পরিবারের সচ্ছলতা ফিরছিল না, কারণ আমাদের ডিমান্ড বাড়ছিল কিন্তু বাবার উপার্জন বাড়ছিল না। কিন্তু যখন আমার মনে করা হয়েছিল যে আমি এখন একটা কিছু শুরু করব, তো আমি যেই কথা সেই কাজ, সেই অনুযায়ী আমি 2018 সালে শেষের দিকে ব্যবসা শুরু করি, হোমমেড খাবার ডেলিভারি। তো আমরা বাসা বসে খাবার তৈরি করে বিভিন্ন জায়গায় কমিউনিটিতে পৌঁছে দিতাম। তো কমিউনিটির বিভিন্ন জায়গায় মানুষের চাহিদা সংগ্রহ করে তাদেরকে আমরা খাবার দিতাম। বিভিন্ন বাধা ও মানুষের সাহস নিয়ে আমরা এই কাজটা শুরু করি। কিন্তু 2019-এর যে কোভিডটা এসেছিল, প্রাকৃতিক দুর্যোগ বলবো ওটাকে, আসলে যে কি বলবো জানি না, ওইটাই আমার ব্যবসাটা একদম থেমে গিয়েছিল। যে একটা বড় একটা ধাক্কা বলবো এটা আমি, যেটাকে আমি কোনোভাবেই ওভারকাম করে উঠতে পারছিলাম না, কারণ সবকিছু বন্ধ হয়ে গিয়েছিল। কিন্তু ব্যবসা থেমে গেলেও আমি থেমে যাই নাই, আমি আমার যোগাযোগ সবসময় চালু রেখেছি। তো 2023 সালের শুরুতে আমার ম্যাক্স ফাউন্ডেশনের সাথে পরিচয় হয় এবং সেখানে আমি একটা প্রশিক্ষণ গ্রহণ করি। তো সেই প্রশিক্ষণে আমি কিভাবে একজন স্বাবলম্বী নারী হয়ে উঠতে পারি, বিভিন্ন বিষয় আমি ওইখান থেকে শিখে আবারও আমি আমার ব্যবসা শুরু করি। তো যেখান থেকে আমি একজন আমাকে স্বাবলম্বী নারী হিসাবে ফুটিয়ে তুলতে পেরেছিলাম, পাশাপাশি কমিউনিটির মা ও শিশুর স্বাস্থ্যের উন্নয়নের ভূমিকা রাখছিলাম। মা ও শিশুর স্বাস্থ্য বিবেচনা করে ম্যাক্স ফাউন্ডেশনের থেকে আমরা পাইপ ওয়াটার গ্রিড স্থাপন করি, যেখানে আমার নতুন পণ্যের চাহিদা এবং ডিমান্ড ক্রিয়েশন তৈরি করতে পারি এবং আমরা সেখানে বিভিন্ন প্রোডাক্টগুলো বিক্রি করতে পারি, যেমন ঝর্ণা, বেসিন, ট্যাপ, হাইকমোড। কারণ আমাদের পানির যে স্বল্পতা ওইটা ওইখান থেকে পূরণ হয় এবং মানুষের জীবনযাত্রার মান উন্নয়ন হয়। আমরা বিভিন্ন সরকারি বেসরকারি প্রতিষ্ঠানের সাথে নেটওয়ার্ক হয়েছিল, যার ফলে আমরা পণ্য ও সেবাগুলো খুব সহজেই পেয়েছিলাম। প্রকল্পের আওতায় আমরা একটা অ্যাসোসিয়েশন গঠন করি, সেখানে আমরা 27 জন সদস্য ছিলাম। তো আমরা এই 27 জন সদস্য আমাদের কমিউনিটির মানুষের দৌড়গোড়া তাদের পণ্য ও সেবাগুলো বিক্রি করে আমরা অর্থনৈতিকভাবে স্বাবলম্বী হয়েছিলাম, যে তাদের যে পণ্যগুলো দরকার। কমিউনিটির মানুষের বিশেষ করে মা ও শিশুর স্বাস্থ্যের উন্নয়ন ঘটেছিল, পাশাপাশি আমাদের ব্যবসারও উন্নয়ন হয়েছিল। পরিশেষে আমার সামাজিক অর্থনৈতিক কর্মকাণ্ডগুলো যেন আরো ভালোভাবে নিয়ে যেতে পারি, সেজন্য সকলের কাছে দোয়া ও সহযোগিতা কামনা করছি। ব্যবসা আমার স্বপ্ন, ব্যবসা আমার শক্তি, ব্যবসা আমার অহংকার। তো ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।
Thank you, Lamia. I will try to translate for the audience and non-Bangla speaker people. But of course, like Minhaz Bhai can also supplement. This is, I think, I wish all of you could like understand Bangla, so it will be much more strong, like what she said. But definitely not always the translation will be as stronger as Lamia expressed. What I just at the beginning, she of course thanks to everyone to get that opportunity to speak to all this audience, and this is the international forum. What she said, like there is a district called Barishal. In that part she's coming from, and she started her life with education called Barishal Women College, and I think she is starting in the third year of the honors degree. And then she said about how she started the business. It's very interesting that like she and her family was in need, was like suffering from the inability to support the finance, like what we call poverty. So they started a food supply business in the community. So they were supplying, she and her family were supplying food. And that's the initial kind of experience of an entrepreneurship, to be an entrepreneur, to do the business. So that was going well, in fact, but I think they got suffered by the COVID, because during the COVID, all the food supply, all the business gone down, and they were, I mean, very stuck by what to do and what not to do. Maybe she got like different insights from different people, but also at the same time, they made the Max people, they are Max Foundations people. And definitely we have a program, I will come to that later. And then she started the entrepreneurship business with a different, not the food supply, because the Max Foundation has a program for the piped water grid in the rural area. That has an intention to like increase the or change the health and hygiene behavior in the community. And that creates some demands for those kind of products, those are related to the health and hygiene. And she linked with the Max Foundation to do that business, like health and hygiene products supplying to the communities. And she is continuing with that business now, and she has 27 friends, like they are the entrepreneur, they're together working. uh, she shared many things about that, but I'm also getting inspired how she conclude. She said that she is now self-reliant with the earning she is getting, but she said like business is my like dream, business is my power, and business will be I mean in my future. So that's kind of three things she said. So I really I'm also like getting inspired by her, like she shared her dream in that way. So this is in a very brief, I just heard what she said. Minhaz bhai, would you like to add anything then before I go to there?
Keep going.
All right. So I think I will request to like open the presentation then. Like, okay, yeah. Lamia is not only one partner of ours. Like I would call Lamia is our partner, because we have a vision. We want to change the community. We want to contribute something innovative, something meaningful to the community, particularly in the context of Bangladesh. And Lamia is one of our partners. Like Lamia, at the moment, we have 471 Lamia or women entrepreneur with us, the Max Foundation, in different parts of the Bangladesh, like from south and the north. So we have our different projects, but wherever we have our projects, like we have the entrepreneurs, and then mostly women entrepreneurs. Definitely, Max Foundation is not only focusing the women entrepreneurs, but of course, we are paying more attention to the women entrepreneurs. The reason we are paying the attention to the women entrepreneurs is like to breaking the taboo still. I mean, even in the last week when I was discussing with Lamia, in the context of Bangladesh, like me or the father always will tell the daughter that, okay, go to the school and look for a job as a teacher or as an NGO worker or maybe in office. very few father will tell their daughter that they go for business. So that's a challenge in Bangladesh, like the women or the girls, where they will get the inspiration for becoming an entrepreneur. So Lamia and her friends are the examples of the change makers, and we want to facilitate that. And then also not necessarily on a conventional way, but also in an innovative way, the Max Foundation. So that's how Max Foundation over 14 years built this concept. I'd like to go to a bit of what Max Foundation are. Can you please go to the next? Yeah. So this is the way Max Foundation works. That will give you a sense of where the entrepreneurs is an integral part of Max Foundation. So in our way of works, it's a strategy, it's an approach. We would say this is the way we want to work. So one, what we say like integrating for impact. Integrating means actually our main two issues we want to deal with. One is the infectious disease and also the undernutrition of the children. So Max Foundation mainly focused on the under 5 children's health. So to create an healthier future means the current like children generation, they will be healthier and they will be better future. So in Bangladesh context, perhaps the countries, all the countries like Bangladesh, we found that there is a nexus between the infectious disease and undernutrition, and also the impact of this is also has an like kind of nexus with the practice of the health hygiene and like kind of health practices in the communities. So we wanted to integrate it, all these things, so that it creates some impact on the health of the children, and it also change bringing it will bring a like kind of positive change in the cycle of intergenerational health, something like that. So that's why we are saying it. So this is our focus. So we want to talk about the health, hygiene, and the children. And that's why we want to also now how we want to do it, the strengthening systems. When we said, we are not only conventionally talking about the government or the community also, but also we are talking about the private sector, the business sector, and the entrepreneurs. In the conventionally, in the NGO sector, we used to create the volunteers. We used to create the cadres. We thought that maybe bringing the entrepreneurs as the change makers would be much more better, and that works we found. So that's why in the number 3, you can see that we are applying the market system approach, means like we are encouraging the private sector to come in, but to link that private sector, we are developing that micro enterprise, and in particular the women entrepreneurs. And then with all this, the like kind of our team and the system, and also the entrepreneurs, those who are going to the change makers, we try to create some impact, and then we want to also create some evidence, and with that evidence, we will go to the stakeholders, like either to the government or to the NGOs or to the communities or to other peoples, like to scale it up. So this is how we want to. So if we say our way of work, the entrepreneur is the driver in our all processes. When I'm talking about the nexus, can you please go to the next slide? So yeah, this is one of the nexus, I would say. This is a picture, maybe is very clear to me, but not maybe the audience. I didn't put any words there. Actually, this is a grid, piped water grid, which Max Foundation is building, I think, since 2012 or maybe before that. So it is an innovation of Max Foundation. So they have, like Max Foundation developed this, I mean, small rural piped grid water. So in Bangladesh context, the piped water is a concept of the urban areas, not the rural areas. So in the rural areas, when we take these things, when Max Foundation, nowadays many organizations are doing this, but the Max Foundation was pioneer to take these things to the rural areas. The reason we say it, like the what we said, the nexus of the infectious disease and undernutrition, we understood that the contamination of the water is one of the important reason for affected by the like a different infectious disease. So how to reduce this contamination of the water? So one of the better solution is to like take the water into the doorstep of the community people of the rural areas through the pipe water, because when they are going to face the water from a different sources, be it in the tube well or in the pond or any other sources, or even in the shops, but still it will be contaminated on the way back to home. But the pipe water will take the water, clean water to the doorstep. So that's how it will be reducing the kind of okay. So reducing the infectious disease. So that's why, like we thought that the water would be. Now, when we take the water to the communities, so it is creating the demand. So I think we can change the slide. So yeah, so it is creating the demand of like not only the water, but also water associated products. That products are coming for the health and hygiene related. For instance, they are looking for the, okay, now I have the tap water, I need a basin, I need a, like kind of maybe soap, I need a tissue, I need to build a bathroom, I need to so use a commode, or I need a pan, or I need to have more water to clean the toilet. So these are the things creating the demands. So that's how is changing the lifestyle of the people in the community. So when the lifestyle has changed, so then these demands are created. Now the people are asking, okay, I have this demand, where I can get. So that's the solution Max Foundation brought in, that okay, someone needs to supply, not the government, not the like market. So there are entrepreneurs. So these are women entrepreneurs. They came forward to supply these things, and then we twisted this thing. We thought that these are the good things, because these women's are taking the business of the like wash product kind of things, or health and hygiene product. Also, they are becoming an entrepreneur, and then it is also related to the water, and then so it's all together creating an integrated impact on the life of a children and the child's mother and the family, as well as in the community, as a better health. So that's why we are saying here, like, okay, they are contributing to the healthy village, creating an healthy village. Again, I will not mention here the healthy village. It's a concept. So it's a long concept. So we have indicators to declare a healthy village. But developing that healthy village, these entrepreneurs are contributing to that like kind of healthy village development. Second, they are also by doing their business, they're also ensuring the supply line of those products. Because our understanding is most importantly, most of the government initiatives and the in NGO initiatives creates the awareness that like you need to do that, you need to use that, but the supply is not there, so the people forget about it. But these entrepreneurs, when they are taking this product for their own business initiative, so the supply chain is ensured. That means the lifestyle, the changed lifestyle, the practices and the behavior we are envisioning to change in the community, that is also happening. So it's a kind of sustainable solution through the entrepreneurs. So one is the business or the entrepreneurship or the entrepreneur. They are becoming the change agent and also creating a sustainable development process or impact. On the other hand, also a kind of the development aspirations are going to be achieved. Due to the time, I'll not go the economic growth, and I think the economic growth, their contribution. Can you please change the slide? Okay, this is just a snapshot. As I said, we have 471 women entrepreneur. So these are the districts name: Patuakhali, Khulna, Lalmonihar. These are the name of districts, and you can see the journey from 2016 to as of today, 2024. How the women. I'm just giving only the statistics of the women entrepreneurs. So these women entrepreneurs are like working. Next, please. Well, here how these entrepreneurs are working. So we are facilitating a process. Like one is like with the Sani Mart, means that the shopkeepers who are building some sort of sanitary equipments, let's say toilet materials or the pipe materials or sanitary. So we are linking this entrepreneur with them. Then also the private companies who are supplying the, let's say, sanitary pad or the tissues or the nutrition related products or any health and hygiene related products, even the contraceptives. And then like also the Union Parishad or the local government, we are connecting them to facilitate the business. So creating an enabling environment for the entrepreneurs to do the business, because that's very important in a market economy. Always the government or the local government create the infrastructure for the business. So that's why we're going to the local government also. Then the financing, because this is also one of the important parts. So microfinance institutions and the local banks, we also connect with them so that they get the resources to do their business. And also as a bargaining association, because the in the urban setup, they have the Chamber of Commerce. So these entrepreneurs, they have the associations, even at the union level, or so that they can do the bargaining. And not only the bargaining, also, they can also do the collective kind of purchasing. So which will help them, which are helping them to like do the business. Yep, I think the next 2 slides I can just show. This is the turnover, and there are some challenges. I think some of the challenges I have already mentioned while I was talking about, like, let's say, the lack of financing, which we have solved in the microfinance, I mean, in integration. Then there is a challenge of the price related, because these entrepreneurs, they don't get the very company rate prices and all these things. And then also, yep, lessons. You can see that like the lessons are like they say it like they are contributing not only to the business market development, but also they are contributing, the entrepreneurs are contributing to develop a healthy village, healthy society, healthy future. And yeah, that's, I would just stop there, maybe just as time up. Sorry, but thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much, Tariq Bhai and Nusrat. I think the story is fascinating because for me, I see that you are providing piped water to rural communities and how in that provision you have embedded the women entrepreneurs like Nusrat as a change agent. And it's such a virtuous cycle, isn't it, right? I mean, Nusrat is going door to door and pushing people to, practice safe hygiene, for example. And then she is selling products. And because of the piped water, people are asking for products that they haven't maybe used before. So I like that story. And also, I think some of the challenges that you have spoken about, I'm sure will also come back to our discussion because from what I have, spoken to other panelists about, the challenges are obviously there are a lot of similarities. And then, of course, towards later part of our panel, we will also try to talk about, what are the solutions. You have touched upon association and relationships with government and microfinance organization. And I look forward to learn more from other panelists, other countries as well, how they have, overcome some of their challenges as well. And on that note, I would like to invite Dr. Dilip from Heifer International. Would you mind coming on stage and taking us through your journey as well?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. There are two things that's going to be different in my sharing this afternoon. One, a disclaimer, I do not have PowerPoint. And secondly, I do not have an entrepreneur like our previous colleague brought to share the compelling story. So I'm going to share how Heifer International is developing women entrepreneurs, especially in South Asia. I'm going to focus more on Nepal, but we work in 19 different countries globally currently. So Heifer International is an international development organization, a non-profit charity established 80 years ago in the United States. Currently, we are working in 19 countries. And in Asia, we are working in Nepal, India, Bangladesh, and Cambodia. And in all those 4 countries, this women entrepreneurship development is one of the focus that we have, because our mission is to end hunger and poverty and care for the earth. So it's on the care for the earth part, when we link that with entrepreneurship, we try to bring the green entrepreneurship or green economy, so that we also make sure the communities that we work with are stewardship with the environment that they live in. Like the challenges, I think in South Asia, for the communities or women farmers, they are more or less same. So there are a couple of strategic intervention that we have been putting together to address those challenges, especially for the woman farmer. We are focusing more on animal agriculture, basically livestock, crops, and vegetables as a commodity value chain in our project, which is kind of different than health sector that we were listening to earlier. So like in South Asia, the communities, the poor communities, the marginalized communities, the minorities, they are in the hopeless situation all the time. So the first intervention that we generally implement is towards translating their hopelessness to hopefulness. We do that by strengthening social capital. On the social capital, we focus both on cognitive dimension, where we include community values, social norms, behavior, attitude, like that. There is a training that we have designed, which is helping each individual in the community, especially woman farmer, building her capacity from the situation that she's not able to tell her name in front of the group or community, to proudly saying her achievements, like the way we just heard. So that is on the cognitive part, and on the structural social capital part, we help facilitate forming groups or associations like self-help group by bringing the women farmers. They are representing their respective families. So it starts from there, and then they are federated into the cooperative. So any entrepreneurship development intervention that we bring are through the cooperative or through individual farmer, and sometimes with the self-help group, depending on what we'd like to do. So that the social capital development part has helped these communities, especially women farmer or entrepreneurs, to make decision better as compared to the situation they were going through in the past. And that also has created a solidarity in the family, within their group, and also in the cooperative. And that is helping them to bulk the product, either that is goat or milk or turmeric or vegetable or ginger, so that they can bring that to the market with a better price and increase the income. Ultimately, like then each family will need to have a living income. That's the goal that we have put when we design or implement project. So that way of bringing, developing social capital has helped these women farmer to so their own empowerment. So social capital and women empowerment, those are the key secret sauce of Heifer that is helping to build the business, especially through the cooperative. And as we work on that area, this market system development and access to finance is a key. In the beginning, they start with a small saving in the self-help group and invest to increase their income from 1 chicken to 5 chicken, or 2 goats to 10 goats. But that is not enough. When they are organized into group and then cooperative, they start seeing the bigger vision. On that note, they will need additional investment, and that's where this access to finance comes. And then we have developed some of the tools and then partnership mechanism, which has helped these cooperatives, these women farmers, to access the capital through various streams, bank, microfinance institute, and other entities, so that they can expand their business. And Heifer facilitates that. So while doing that, we have developed a kind of structure in each country, the technical expertise that we need, who are local, who can understand the need of the community, and then bring that to various stakeholders in various platforms for the capital and also for the market. So Heifer in general is run by the local staff, not by expats. So I want to share a little bit more on this investment and entrepreneurship part, giving some examples of Nepal this time, but we have similar examples in Bangladesh and also India and Cambodia, and beyond that in 19 countries. In Nepal, currently we are working with about 400,000 households in about 300 cooperatives. So these women farmers are doing various value chains like goat, dairy, and vegetables, spices like turmeric and ginger. But they are doing in a smaller scale. So doing that production is a collective approach had helped them. So in each cooperative, there are women entrepreneurs that they are identified, and then they are linked to the institution who can provide loans, and then they can expand their business. But there are some achievements that we have around that. So far, there are more than 12,000 women entrepreneurs we have developed in Nepal of various scale, and doing all these commodities that I have mentioned. And then they have mobilized about $17 million capital investment from various sources, from the bank and microfinance institution, for expanding that. And these are happening through the direct or individual loan, or in some cases, we have also done that through the cooperative. So cooperatives associate, the farmer who are associated with the cooperative receives a large amount of loan, and that is dispersed to each individual farmer. So that has helped us to expand the business, but there are some challenges that they are facing. So we have devised some of the approaches that has helped. One is like this, the provision of bulk loan, because each individual farmer sometimes are not able to access the loan from the bank because of not having collateral, because they cannot develop a bankable business plan. And they also are not able to, like, the financial literacy part is kind of low, so we are also building their capacity. And the loan process of these banks, I think we all understand in South Asia, it's very cumbersome. So we're trying to help them to address these issues through various approaches. Like Heifer is facilitating several memorandum of understanding with the bank, who are ready to invest the loan to the farmer and also to the cooperative. And so on that note, about $80 million has already been committed by more than 20 banks and microfinance institutes in Nepal for the Heifer beneficiaries through these cooperatives. But so far, we have not been able to utilize that. So we still need to expand or build the capacity of the farmer. So out of that, about 20 million on an average has already been mobilized. But there is an opportunity for farmer to expand their business by accessing all those loans. And on that note, like this financial literacy and bankable business plan and other things, we're trying to help for those farmers who are not able to produce a collateral. They have been utilizing their cooperative as a platform to receive the capital and then invest into the business, because the cooperative can get a bulk loan from the bank, and then they can invest into their member without collateral. So that approach has helped. And the other approach, we have also introduced a concept of bank Sathi. Like in case of India, we have heard about Pasu Sakhi or Krishi Sakhi. So with that approach, these bank Sathi are helping to develop all these or fulfill the requirement of the bank, so that these farmers can get loan and expand their business. So the partnership is key in this case. The capacity building is another key thing that we are doing, but the fundamental is the building capacity, and then changing the mindset of this woman farmer, especially in South Asia, from hopelessness to hopefulness. That is one secret sauce which has helped Heifer communities to expand the business. So on an average, like there are more than 100,000 goats that they go to market in Nepal from the Heifer cooperatives. So as I think there are participants who are our partner here, and they are also like getting the turmeric and also ginger from Heifer, and then even exporting to the European market, so as with chili. So there are a lot of examples that I can share through my colleagues who is managing our this access to finance and entrepreneurship development program in Nepal. With that, I stop here because there is a lot I can share, but there's no time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dilip. I think, and then thank you so much for sharing your secret sauce. And I have written that down, from hopelessness to hopefulness. I think it resonated across the audience today, how social capital and women empowerment are, two sides of the same coin. And I think some of the challenges that you have touched upon, like general, cumbersomeness of the loan processes in our part of the world, and the financial literacy being a challenge, and also the entrepreneurs are so small at the time when they start. Oftentimes the ticket size is not necessarily tenable for even the MFIs of our region. And therefore, the innovative approach that you have adopted to go for a buck loan is something that I think can be, looked into by other panelists and the audience as well. I would like to build on what you have shared by way of sharing what Heifer is doing, and would like to go to our friends from India. So I know that there are a lot of similarities in terms of the challenges that we have just discussed, right, Anagha? And also you have been, talking about going not just to access to finance, not just to providing loans and accounts and deposits, but beyond that, building the ecosystem, for example. And take us through your journey. And I'm so glad that we have Vanita Pise as well. And I think the spotlight is on you as well. I mean, how the journey of you is supported by Deshi, and what challenges you have overcome, and then the approaches that you have taken. I think there are a lot to learn from your story. So over to you, to Anagha and Vanita Pise.
Thank you, Minhaz. Namaste and good afternoon to everyone. Just one request. Manita ताई तुम्ही मगाशी जिथे होता तिथेच बसा, कारण ती स्क्रीन व्यवस्थित दिसत नाही. But yeah, in any case, I completely echo what Dr. Tariqul just said. This stage, this platform belongs to women, inspiring women like Nusrat and Vanita ji. We should be grateful that we have the opportunity to share this space with them, to learn more from them, and honestly just hear what is it that we can do from a supply side for meeting the needs and aspirations of incredible women like Nusrat and Vanita Tai. So to tell you a little more about Mandeshi, and of course, Vanita ji's story is completely intertwined with Mandeshi's story and the journey that we've had over the years. Uh, Mandeshi Foundation and Mandeshi Bank, we are two sister entities, both based in India. We are headquartered in a small village called Maswad, which is 6-7 hours from Bombay City, which is where Vanita Tai now is. I'm sorry, but I'm traveling at the moment. This organization was started 25 years ago by a group of ordinary women who had extraordinary courage, because back in 1996, they decided to come together because they did not have a safe space to save. So they were breaking stones, digging wells, selling vegetables on the street. And these women, because they were making an income which they wanted to invest in their community, invest in their family, like Minhaz rightly said, that when women have access to finance, they want to invest it in their community, their family's well-being. So these women, there was no bank which came forward to support them with their saving. They were not asking for a loan. They were just looking for a safe space to save. They were looking for a safe space to save so that they could accumulate some money which they could invest into their business again. But because there was no avenue for them, these women came together. They made history by setting up India's first bank for and by rural women, which is Mandeshi Bank. When Mandeshi Bank was established, the intent was very clear that while most institutions put the bankers at the center of their operations, we want to put the women at the center of their operations. So it was not banking as usual. We could not customize our products or our operations, our processes, keeping the convenience of the people running the organization in mind. Instead, we had to keep in mind the needs, the convenience, everything that was for the women. So we had to make changes, such as if coming to the bank meant losing a day's labor, we would have to go to the women, go to their farms, go to their stalls in the weekly market. If it meant customizing our repayment cycles and processes to meet their cash flows, we innovated products keeping those in mind. So we have a weekly market around which the rural economy in India, and I may be wrong, but maybe other South Asian countries also revolve. But in these weekly markets, we have people from the nearby villages where women come and they set up their stalls. So they need a loan on the day before or the morning of the weekly market so that they can buy their raw material. And they want to repay the loan at the end of the day because they don't want to take that money back home because they don't know who could take it away from them. So we had to come up with a cash product keeping that in mind. Now, when we realized that women were able to access finance and we wanted women to have control over finance, the next step was developing their ability to be able to leverage these resources. So the foundation came together to offer a banking plus approach where we realized that women needed some skill development opportunities. So we came up with a financial literacy curriculum, a digital literacy curriculum, and skill development curriculums for various courses. These curriculums are customized to meet the needs of our women. They are all in regional languages wherever they are utilized, and they tell the story of these whatever these modules want to convey through characters which are very similar to these women. So the women see themselves in those characters. When over the years, we have been known for organizing women for the banking space, but also when we give women access to finance, we have been doing it through self-help groups, which are called Bachat Guts in our part of the country. Vanita Tai is known for having access loans from Bachat Guts, and she herself now wants to give back to the community, and she sets up Bachat Guts itself. So she's very familiar with what are the challenges of starting a business because she herself has a business. She has a very incredible story, which I will ask her to share. And I would like her to also share that how was the process of her setting up the business? what was the process of then her bringing more women into the business and organizing women to set up their businesses. तर वनिता ताई, थोडक्यात तुम्ही सांगा की तुम्ही जेव्हा बिझनेस सुरू केला तेव्हा तुमची काय जर्नी होती आणि आता तुम्ही ज्या महिलांबरोबर काम करतात त्यांना काय चॅलेंजेस येतात त्यांच्या बिझनेसेस सुरू करायला.
नमस्ते. म्हणजे माझी जर्नी म्हटलं तरी म्हणजे सुरुवातीला आताच्या महिलांना खूप काय ऍडव्हान्स झालं, पण आता माझ्या वेळेस मला खूप असे चॅलेंजेस आले. स्वतःचा बिझनेस उभा करताना एकतर मला माहित नव्हतं की मी माझं मानदेशीशी 18 वर्ष झालं रिलेशन आहे आणि 18 वर्षाच्या काळामध्ये मी खूप काही शिकले, चॅलेंजेस आले, त्याच्यावर सोल्युशन काढले. परंतु ज्यावेळेस मी माझा बिझनेस सुरू केला 2006 मध्ये मला पुरस्कार मिळाला. मी पंतप्रधानांच्या हस्ते मला पुरस्कार मिळाला, दिल्लीला तो मिळालाय. ह्या बिझनेसच्या माध्यमातून मिळाला. पण हा बिझनेस उभा करताना मला खूप चॅलेंजेस आले. ते असे फक्त आर्थिक हे चॅलेंजेस नसतं, ते मला तिथून अनुभव आला की आर्थिक नाहीये, आर्थिक पेक्षा मॅनेजमेंट, नियोजन आणि डॉक्युमेंटला किती महत्व असतं हे खूप महत्वाचं होतं. त्यावेळेस मला ते लक्षात येत नव्हतं. पैसा तर आहेच, आर्थिक आहे, पण मग त्यावेळेस मला डॉक्युमेंट किंवा करार, एक उदाहरण देते. मी ज्यावेळेस माझा एक बिझनेस सुरू केला त्यावेळेस मला एकच साधा करार केलेला, आणि तो करार म्हणजे आपण कुठल्या पद्धतीने, मी पेपरवर लिहून घेतला म्हणजे करार संपला असं मला वाटलं. तेच माझ्या खूप महागात पडलं. म्हणजे त्याला कोणतरी प्रूफ पाहिजे, त्याच्याकडे त्याच्या प्रोटोकॉल म्हणजे कोणतरी वकील पाहिजे, कुणीतरी लिहून दिला आणि तो मी एक्सेप्ट म्हणजे मी मान्य केला. तर हे माझ्यासाठी खूप मोठं चॅलेंजेस झालं होतं त्यावेळेस.
Vanita Tai, so just to repeat translate what Vanita Tai said, she said that I have been associated with Mandeshi for 18 years, and I first became associated with Mandeshi when I was starting my own business. Because the challenges that I face, while also she highlighted, so Vanita Tai has received an award from the Prime Minister of India in 2006, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, for being an exemplary woman entrepreneur. So she's saying to get I am who I am, a brand in myself because of my business. I am whoever I am because my business has taken me there. So she's saying when you're starting a business, the financial challenges are challenges that everybody is very aware of, but challenges are not only financial. Challenges can start right from the documentation process, because when she was starting off, she was under the assumption that when you say a contract, if you wrote something on a piece of paper and you signed it, it meant a contract and you had an obligation to live by it. So when she was starting a business, she wrote down things on a piece of paper, she signed it and she handed it over to vendors, not to realize that a contract meant a legal document which needed a lawyer, which had other processes to it. So she said that women now have access to information, that's right, but she still believes that these are gaps in the supply side and demand side which are still not being met, and this is a problem for a lot of women. वनिता ताई, तुम्ही जेव्हा बचत गट आयोजित करतात महिलांचे, तर बचत गट आयोजित करताना तुम्हाला काय चॅलेंजेस येतात, महिलांना काय चॅलेंजेस येतात?
म्हणजे ज्यावेळेस आपण बचत गट तयार करतो त्यावेळेस महिलांचं सुरुवातीचं असतं की बचत गट म्हणजे काय, ह्याच्यापासून आपल्याला त्यांना सांगावं लागतं, बचत गटाचं महत्व सांगावं लागतं, आणि एक बचत गट आपल्याला कुठपर्यंत घेऊन जातो हे ज्यावेळेस मला सांगावं लागतं ना, हे खूप आपले पेशन्स ठेवून सांगावं लागतं. महिलांना कसं वाटतं बचत गट म्हणजे 10 महिला अकाउंट खोललं आणि झालं, असं नाहीये. त्यांचं आधार कार्ड किती महत्वाचं आहे, पॅन कार्ड किती महत्वाचं आहे, त्यांची सिग्नेचर किती महत्वाची आहे, मोबाईल नंबर, ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी खूप आपल्याला पेशन्स ठेवून समजावून सांगावे लागतात. आणि ज्यावेळेस 10 किंवा 12 महिला एकत्र येतात, आता त्यावेळेस काय होतं, सगळ्यांचे एकत्र एक म्हणजे आम्ही पहिलं सांगतो की बचत गट म्हणजे एक फॅमिली आहे, आपलं कुटुंब आहे, आपण एकमेकाशी अगदी कुटुंबासारखं बघितलं पाहिजे, हे आम्हाला पहिलं व्यवस्थित सांगावं लागतं. आम्ही पहिली मीटिंग घेतो ते फक्त आम्ही एकत्रित येऊन बचत गट म्हणजे काय हे पहिलं सांगतो. दुसऱ्या मीटिंगला हे सांगतो की ह्या बचत गटाच्या खात्याचं एकच नाव असणार आहे, एक शीर्षक असणार आहे. मग तेही महिलांना वाटतं म्हणजे की आमच्या पर्सनल नावावर नाहीत का आमचे पैसे येणार, एकच नावावर काय येतात. मग ते फक्त 10 महिलांमध्ये मिळून एकच नाव असतं आणि त्याला बचत गट म्हणतात. हे पण महिलांना खूप व्यवस्थित सांगावं लागतं, नाहीतर अन्यथा एका दुसरी महिला म्हणती अहो मला मेसेज नाही आला, माझ्या मुलांनी बघितलं मला मेसेज नाही आला. ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी खूप फेस कराव्या लागतात आपल्याला बचत गटात. आणि ज्यावेळेस अकाउंट ओपन होतं त्यावेळेस परत हा प्रश्न असतो की अध्यक्ष उपाध्यक्षांनीच भरायचे का, अध्यक्ष उपाध्यक्षकडे आमच्याकडे त्यांनी जायचं का त्यांनी आमच्याकडे यायचं. असे छोटे छोटे प्रॉब्लेम असतात, खूप छोटे, पण ते खूप म्हणजे व्यवस्थित सांगावे लागतात त्यावेळेस मग बचत गट रुटीन मध्ये चालतात.
Okay. This is very interesting because she's bringing in the factor of trust, which is very important in any collective that comes together for women, especially when finances are involved. So she's saying that generally you have, when you're mobilizing women into a self-help group, it starts from right from telling them what are self-help groups and what is it going to do for you. The common perception in their mind is that you get 10 women together, you open a bank account in their name, and you keep saving money on a regular basis. But when you actually get into the nuances of it, you realize that there are so many additional steps involved, and you have to be so patient in explaining each of these steps to the women because money is involved. So there is a huge trust factor. And she's saying that you have to tell the women, so many of the women who she's working with, they don't have their documentations in place. They need to have their Aadhaar card, their PAN card. So many of them don't have mobile numbers in their name. So many of them have never signed a document before. So they need to know that all of these processes are involved, and all of this, has to be put in order for all the women together. Now, also, she's saying that there will be questions in terms of why is the money under a different name, a different bank account name? Why is the money not in my name? So is it still safe? Why is the message not coming on my number? So she's saying all these questions are involved. Now, just to quickly take from where Vanita Tai is driving us, a lot of women who come to Mandeshi Bank, they're first-time borrowers, which is a challenge that Vanita Tai herself must be facing very frequently. So what do you do when women who have borrowed through self-help groups, have borrowed through informal sources, are now not able to borrow as individual borrowers because they don't have a credit history? So when they don't have a credit history, Mandeshi identified this as a major challenge, and we came up with an alternative credit score. Now, credit score was created keeping in mind that women in rural areas may not have what are traditionally considered to be assets. Like they may not have vehicles, they may not have homes, they may not have land in their name. But what do they have in their name? They have animals in their name, they have machinery in their name, they have businesses registered in their name, they have gold which they own, and all of these are assets. So many of these women have borrowed through self-help groups, and all of this should account for showing that they're good borrowers, good repayers, and they have a credit history. So Mandeshi has put together this. Mandeshi also has a wealth card for women entrepreneurs, which also helps them track what has been the change in your economic indicators, what has been the change in your social indicators, because all of this becomes very important when women are trying to scale from micro to small, because at the moment there is a lot of focus on lending to micro enterprises. So when they wish to scale to a small enterprise, the ecosystem is not very supportive for them. So Mandeshi is making small efforts through women like Vanita Tai, bringing them together, bringing women into confidence, and seeing how we can better support them.
आणि ह्यामध्ये एकही होतं की ज्यावेळेस आम्ही अशा 10 महिला एकत्र करतो त्यात 1-2 पुरुष जर आले तर कधी त्या मीटिंग म्हणजे पुरुष आले तर होतं काय की काय सांगते आमच्या महिलांना. मग कधी कधी मी त्यावेळेस 2 काही 4 पुरुषांना आधी बसवून घेते की तुम्ही महिलांच्या आधी तुम्ही ऐका. मग त्यावेळेस आम्हाला थोडं म्हणजे बरं पडतं. म्हणजे ज्यावेळेस पुरुषांना पण मी कधी कधी मग बचत गटाच्या मीटिंग मध्ये बसवून टाकत असते.
She's just adding that, when you have a self-help group meeting and you're trying to tell women different aspects, there will always be men who will be lingering around, and they'll come and they'll be like, what are you trying to tell our women? Are you, what sense are you putting into our women's minds? Are you trying to manipulate them? So at that time, it becomes very important to also take these men into confidence, ask them to sit down, and also make them a part of the process. So it's a challenging journey, but you have to be as strong and I'm sure as courageous as women like Nusrat and Vanita Tai to actually make this change happen on the ground. Thank you, Vanita Tai.
Fantastic. I think the wealth of insights and information that Vanita Tai and Anagha you have shared is immensely powerful, and they're from the ground, and the trust, is also something that resonates very well. I think, and taking men into confidence is a perfect strategy. I think, I was so struck by the example and the story that you have shared, and then also the tool that you have referred to, the alternative credit score, something for the same challenge as Heifer International was talking about women entrepreneurs individually not being able to, find the money, then looking at what else could work for them. And the wealth card, I think these are fantastic tools and ideas for all the listeners of this panel. So I think we are almost towards the end of our session today. I wish we had more time because this is so fascinating and there is so much of wisdom. But we will have to now, I think, move towards the end. And I see some questions are already lined up, and feel free to get us more questions. So let's get there. And the first question is for Heifer International. So a little bit technical, but I would like Dr. Dilip to address this in brief. So the first question is, the FPO structure was devised to overcome some of the challenges of cooperatives. Curious what Heifer's experience is on that front. And also on a related note, Heifer has plans to set up an impact investing fund. So if you can add more to that. So maybe you start with explaining what FPO is a little bit for the audience.
Okay, thank you. Before jumping into the response, I was enjoying the conversation, the sharing from Banita Thai, because I felt like I'm listening to one of the Heifer participants, because when I go to field, I also listen to the same story. So I feel very much connected there. On the FPO front, I think our colleagues from India are also aware. In general, in case of India only, like the communities where we work with, we form the self-help group, which is, if there is no self-help group, we facilitate that process to form. If there is already, because in India, in all the communities, there are self-help groups. So we help reorganize them, and then they are federated into the farmer producer organized, our farmer producer company, FPO or FPC, instead of cooperative. I think there are some dynamics, internal dynamics, or the provisions in the Cooperative Act versus FPO Act in India. So in our experience, we found out that creating FPO is much better to manage these communities and women farmer as compared to the cooperative. So in our projects or in our communities in India, in Bihar, Odisha, and also in Andhra Pradesh, we are helping these communities to form FPO instead of cooperative. It's because of some of the legal strings there in the cooperative. On the impact investment side, like we wanted to be one of the players on that front. So a couple of years ago, I think about 4 years ago, we created that wing in the center, our headquarters where I'm located. And then that unit has their structure and also the fund for the countries to figure out the way to work on the impact investment front. So that unit sometimes provides some bank like the first loss guarantee or something like that, bank guarantee, so that bank can provide loans to cooperatives and the woman farmer. And the unit also has a local fleet in the country who are working to build partnership with the bank and microfinance companies, and also building capacity of the cooperatives, helping them to develop bankable business plan, helping them to have a better like alternate credit score or something like that, the financial literacy part, and then helping them to develop this the package that set of document or package that will need to be submitted to the bank for getting loans. So it's more for capacity building and also for the investment within Heifer, and also seeking partnership with other big private sector player who are ready to invest in agriculture and in a smallholder farmer and in cooperative, especially woman farmer. So that's how we have been doing or working in the area of impact investment. So it's not new to us. Thank you.
Excellent, Dr. Dilip. Thank you so much. Let's move on to one more question that we have got maybe I can invite Dr. Tariq to address this one. What impact can women leaders have on inspiring next generation of entrepreneurs?
Well, I think, no, thanks for giving me the opportunity. I think this question also raises another questions because the what said like what impact can women leaders have on the inspiring next generation of entrepreneurs? Now, if I see Nusrat as an entrepreneur, so my question is which women leaders we are talking about? So if I consider like, okay, the leaders, the women leaders, those who are leading maybe the societies or countries like who are experienced enough, if their role is just questioned, then I think definitely they can just facilitate a enabling environment, uh, be it in the social norm, be it in the state kind of regulations, to make them enable for the I mean business to run this women. But if women means the women entrepreneurs like the Nusrat already representing the next generation, and even the further next, if I consider like the Nusrat's next generation, I think definitely they are inspiring in a sense, like for us, like even me or my elderly people, we think business in a different way, like business means like the conventional way of doing the business. But if I look at the Nusrat, so they will be using the technologies, they will be connecting with their friends, and they will be talking about the new products. Like for instance, uh, I don't think like 10 years back, if I would ask a woman in my society, can you do a business for the sanitary pad? I think they will not just even they'll shut the door to me. I mean, they will think like, okay, what the secret business you are talking about? Where the Nusrat's generation, they are selling the sanitary pad to the doorsteps. So they are going to the market and buying. So that the trauma, the social norms, the social practices that has been changed by like the next generations, like the Nusrats. So I think if the Nusrat become an example like, okay, this is not a secret business, this is a practice, I think that will also help their next generation, like Nusrat's next generation, to come much more forward to bringing business entrepreneurship as a strong vehicle for changing the society and changing the norms in the sense society, which will have a, I mean, better generation in the future. That I want to link with this two generation. Yep.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much, Tariq Bhai. I think we have just one more minute left, and I would like to use that to ask the last question of the day to Anagha. Your credit scoring tool, is it available for others? And, this is an ask from many other countries from across the globe. So if you can try finish in a minute.
Yes, of course. So we're actually working with some regulators in India to see how we can make it a public good because we wanted to become a part of the ecosystem. We are also working to build a digital wallet which will be backed by blockchain technology. So this put together will really bring in ease for women when they go to access credit. The thing is that when women start out to set up a business, there's so many naysayers. Everybody around them is going to discourage them. The family will say no for social reasons. The vendor will tell them that how will you ever operate this machinery? The bankers will tell them how will you ever repay this loan? So in such a situation where there is so much discouragement, in our experience, and I'm sure all the women who are listening and this resonates with, their courage becomes their only capital, and that is what they build their businesses upon. So I would like to end with just this, that for so many women, their courage is their capital, and they're willing to speak with us only if you're willing to listen to them.
Fantastic. I'm taking away so much of wisdom today. The courage being the only capital. And previously we heard from hopelessness to hopefulness, and trust, and how the norms are being changed by the women entrepreneurs. So thank you so much for the lovely discussion. I think I have, for myself, enjoyed this conversation, learned a lot, and saw a lot of similarities and also a lot of opportunities to collaborate. Maybe this is the beginning of many of us to reach out to each other and build on what we have already been able to do. So thank you so much, Vanita Dai, Nusrat, Dr. Dilip, Dr. Tariq, Anagha, and also in the background, Suchi, Vinita, Ananna, Prakash, and everybody who have been supporting very ably to make this happen. Looking forward to inviting you all for the next session, which is right in next hour or so. So over to you, Suchi.
Yeah, just very quickly, many thanks once again to all of you for making the time and for sharing so freely and honestly. Invite you to please join us, you and the others on this session. Join us in our next session for today, which is at 6 p.m. IST, 6:30 Bangladesh time, 15 minutes further behind Nepal time. And we do look forward to moving forward on some of the points that have been raised here. Thanks again, and see you on our other sessions and in our work going forward. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks.